Hope you all are enjoying your good health and doing well in your studies. So let's begin. So following are the objective of this module.
To enrich word vocabulary through important terms, to get familiar with the Bhakti movements, to analyze difference between Alvar and Nyanyar, to acknowledge Veer Shivaya tradition. So let's begin with new words. Alvar, devotee of Vishnu in South India, is called Alvar. Nyanyar, devotee of Shiva in South India, is called Nyanyar. Shagun Bhakti, Bhakti focused on worship of Shiva, Vishnu and Devi, is called Shaguna Bhakti. Nirgun Bhakti, worshipping of shapeless or an abstract form of God, is called Nirgun Bhakti. Before going to begin with the new topics in this module, let us understand what we did in previous module. In previous module, we started chapter Bhakti, Sufi and tradition by understanding the sources, the variety of religious structure that were included in the religious belief and practices in the form of stupa, monasteries and temple. Textual traditions which were written in the Puran were another great source. To understand the history of Bhakti and Sufi tradition, textual sources between 8th to 18th century includes the composition of attributes to poet and saints. Especially these attributes were either in oral or in written form, compiled by the disciples or devotees, generally after the death of these poets or disciples. Thereafter, we saw a mosaic of religious belief and practices. The most striking feature of this phase was wide range of gods and goddess in the sculpture as well as in text. Worship of major deities like Vishnu, Shiva and goddess, each of whom was visualized in variety of forms. Historians suggested that there were two processes to understand the work and the integration of cult. Number one was disseminating the Brahmical text, and number two was the Brahman accepting and reworking upon the belief and practices of socials. In first process, we exemplify by composition, compiling and perseverance of Puranic text in simple Sanskrit verses. These were accessible to women and Shudras. On the other hand, in second process, many beliefs and practices were shaped through continuous dialogues between great Sanskrit Puranic tradition and little tradition throughout the land. So, to understand the great and little tradition, which is coined by Robert Redfield in 20th century, according to him, he says that all the ritual practices were done and followed by the peasant society as well. That's why it was categorized into two traditions, great tradition and little tradition. Great tradition was followed by higher class of society and there had certain rituals and customs which was performed over there, whereas little tradition followed by the local tradition or lower class people, where women were also allowed along with the Shudras to worship and read the text of holy books. To understand the different worship practices of the same God, we took the example of Puri Jagannath, and Puri Jagannath is a very popular temple situated in Puri in Orissa. Here Puri Jagannath is the principal deity of Lord Vishnu, a local deity whose image was and continued to be made of wood by the local tribal specialist, was recognized as a form of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu was visualized as a way that were different from that in the other part of the continent. Whereas worship of goddess often simply in the form of stones simmered with the ochre, which was eventually widespread. Let us see the differences and conflicts of worshipping tradition. Often associated with the goddess were the form of worship that were classified as tantric. These tantrics were practiced widely in several parts of the subcontinent, where men and women were allowed to do the practice of this tradition. This traditional people, they ignored the differences of the caste and class. These were influenced by the Shaivism as well as Buddhism, came to be classified as Hindu over the course of the end of next millennium. Let us see towards differences. The principal deities of Vedic Panthis were Agni, Indra and Somas, and all, while we can catch a glimpse of Vishnu, Shiva and goddess in Vedic mantras. These have little in common with the collaborate Puranic mythology. The Vedas continue to revered as authoritative. Ideology of Bhakti movement. Here, the existence of Supreme God focused on social and religious equality, which challenged the priestly class and complex rituals. There were two sects of Bhakti movement towards the Indian, North Indian and South Indian. Kabir, Tulsidas, Guru Nanak and Ramanujan were from North Indian side, and Alwar and Nyanyars were very popular in South. Let's know more about Kabir Das. He was brought up in a family of Julaha or weavers settled in Banaras. He rejected all the forms of external worship. He believed in formless Supreme God. He preached that only path to salvation was through bhakti or devotion. He rejected the domination of priestly class and caste system. Let us know about Guru Nanak Sahib. He was born at Talwandi, Nanak Sahib in Pakistan. He emphasized the importance of one God. His idea of liberation was pursuit of active life with a strong sense of social commitment. He used the term like Naam, Daan and Snan. Naan Chapan, Kirat Karan and Vandachakan were the main ideology. His followers ate together in the common kitchen called Langar, and the sacred place created by Baba Guru Nanak was known as Dharamsal or Gurudwara. Let us know about Mirabai. She was a disciple of Ravidas and saint from an untouchable caste. She was devoted to Lord Krishna. She composed bhajans expressing her intense devotion. Mirabai cancelled the norms of upper caste. Adi Shankaracharya. He was born in Kerala and he advocated the doctrine of Advaita, which means the oneness of individual soul and Supreme God. He considered the world around us to be an illusion or Maya. He praised renunciation of the world to attain salvation. Bhakti movement towards south. In the two sects, these were Alwar and Nyanyars. Alwar were the worshippers of Lord Vishnu, whereas Nyanyars were the worshippers of Shiva. They belonged to all the caste. They were influenced by Sangam literature. They believed in love and heroism. The Alvars and Nyanyars of Tamil Nadu. Alvars were those who immersed in the devotion of Vishnu. Nyanyars were the leaders who were devoted towards Shiva. They traveled from place to place singing hymns in Tamil in praise of their god. They identified certain shrines as abode of their chosen deities. Very often, large temples were later built at these sacred places. These developed later as a center of pilgrimage. Singing composition of these poets, saints became the part of their temple rituals. Let us see the attitude towards the caste by the Alvars and Nyanyars. Initially, a movement of protest against the caste system and dominance of Brahmins was done by Alvars and Nyanyars, at least attempt of reform the system. Bhaktas hailed from diverse social background, ranging from Brahmins to artisans and cultivators, and even from caste considered untouchable. Compositions like Divya Prabandham was frequently described as Tamil Veda, thus claiming that text was significant as 4 Vedas in Sanskrit that were cherished by Brahmins. Now let us have a look upon women devotees towards the Bhakti era. Striking feature of this tradition was presence of women. Composition of Andal, a woman Alvar, were widely sung and continue to be sung to date. Andal saw herself as a beloved of Vishnu. Her verses express her love for the deity. Another woman devotee towards south was Karaikal Amaivar. A devotee of Shiva adopted the path of extreme asceticism in order to attain her goal. These women renounced their social obligations but did not join an alternative order or became nun. Let us have a look upon religious tradition with the states. If we see first millennium CE, several important chiefdoms, they play very important role to emphasize upon the Bhakti movement towards the south region. Around 6th to 9th century CE, we find the evidence for the states including those of Pallavas and Pandyas who promoted Bhakti movement. Buddhism and Jainism had been prevalent in the different regions for several centuries. Also, we find religious tradition, they received occasional royal patronage. Other critical relation which we find that one of the major theme in Tamil hymn is poet opposition to the Buddhism and Jainism. This marked the composition of Nyanyar. Historians explain the reason due to composition between members of other religion tradition for royal patronage. Evidences we can find in powerful Chola rulers around 9th to 19th century, supported by Brahmical and Bhakti tradition, making land grants and constructing temples in the name of Vishnu and Shiva. Shiva temples including those of Chittambaram, Tanjore and Gangekondala Cholapuram were constructed under the patronage of Chola rulers. Representations of Shiva we can see in the bronze sculptures. The Veer Shiva Karnataka. Around 12th century emerges a new movement in Karnataka led by Brahmana named Bhasvasana. Initially he was a Jain and a minister in the court of Chalukya king. His followers were known as Veer Shiva, means hero of Shiva. Another group of followers were Lingyat. These were wearer of the Linga. They worship Shiva in the manifestation as Linga, and men usually wear a small Linga in a silver case on loop strung over the left shoulder. Those who were revered include in Jagamma or wandering monks. The Veer Shiva Karnataka Lingyats, they believe that on death the devotee will be united with the Shiva and will not return in this world. Therefore, they do not practice funeral rites such as cremation prescribed in Dharmashastra. Instead, the ceremonial bury their dead. The challenges of this idea was towards the casteism and pollution. It was questioned on the theory of rebirth and was encouraged with the certain practices which was disapproved in the Dharmashastra after understanding of Veer Shiva's tradition, which is derived from Vachanas. Let us see the religious fragment in North India. North India deities such as Vishnu and Shiva are worshipped in temples. Several Rajput states emerged and they promoted the worshipping of Lord Vishnu and Shiva. Brahmins occupied position of importance at that time. There seems to have been a little or no attempt to challenge their position directly. Religious leaders who did not function within the orthodox of Brahmical frame were gaining ground. These includes Naths, Yogis and Siddhas and artisanal groups. All these practices were very popular towards the northern India in the part of Bhakti movement.
That's all in this module, dear children. Remaining topic we are going to cover in the upcoming module of the chapter. Till then, stay happy, stay tuned.
Now it's time to do few questionnaire. First question is, Vishnu Bhakta saints were known as, options are Nyanyar, Vaishnav, Alvar or Jaimi. Next question, Alvar saints worshipped, options Lord Vishnu, Lord Lakshmi, Lord Indra or Lord Shiva. Answer all these questions in comment. Thank you for watching.